Hi, my name is Dr. Laura Anderson, and I have my business, Common Chord Psychology Services. The Common Chord is a place where two circles intersect, and that's not by accident. A lot of the work I do is with families and individuals, kind of figuring out differences, living together in difference, overcoming any barriers, and figuring out how to thrive. And I've started this series of Common Chord consultations and conversations just to put the word out there on how I think about supporting kids and families. I've been licensed now as a child and family psychologist for almost 20 years, and I really love my work. I love kids and families. Love being strength-based, thinking about all of us and our strengths and the wisdom that we bring and what we know about our kids, and sort of combine what families that I work with know about their kids and what I know about the theory of working with kids. And one of the places to start with that for me is that I am passionate about and have personal and professional expertise in work with adoptive families. Something near and dear to my heart. I'm an adoptive parent myself, and I think it's very safe to say that that has really informed my work with adoptive kids and families over the years. I'm grateful for my degree. It helps me think through a lot of things. I certainly apply a lot of what I knew about psychology as a parent. My poor kid. I definitely probably apply too much psychology to my kid as a parent. But I have to say that as I got farther into adoptive parenting, I realized that as delightful as my kiddo is, traditional parenting, classic parenting, the parenting that my brother and his kids, the parenting that my friends are doing, it's different. My son needed something different, and it really pushed me to learn more about what helps adoptive kids thrive. So I've made it a life's work, kind of, to help figure out what I can take from what I knew based on all the theory and working with families over decades, and weave in some kind of special areas of knowledge that I've gathered based on the last decade or so of living the actual life of parenting. I know there's a lot of people out there that have been doing this directly longer than I have, and I always learn. I teach as I learn. I'll say every family I work with teaches me something new. And it's that openness to hearing adoptive families and hearing adoptive parents and listening to the ways that they've learned and the knowledge that they've picked up along the way is critical. So I think of it as coming together, three types of expertise: the theory expertise, the adoptive parent expertise on my end, and then of course what the family brings and how they know their individual child. I personally have noticed a ton in my work about the sensory piece. And I'll start there just with a little teaser that when I started thinking about my kid as a sensory being and understanding what was going on for him through the lens of thinking about his sensory system and its functioning and his strengths and challenges and the situations in which he had the hardest time, it changed my parenting. It totally changed my parenting. When I sought specific help about sensory types of issues, it opened the door to all kinds of different ways of approaching things that were pretty tricky for us on a daily basis. And it helped me really stop and think about what was going on before my kid had a hard time, what was going on while my kid had a hard time, and then what was I doing that I hoped would change those hard times moving forward, and was that working? So as a psychologist who helps adoptive families, I really think through what's going on in the environment around our kids when it gets challenging. What's happening for them from a stimulation standpoint? How can we start to predict the times of day, the public spaces, the routines, which parts of our routines are more likely to end us up in a spin out or power struggle? And so starting to recognize those triggers is super important, and also to take a look at what they need in the moment to reorganize. A couple of friends of mine and I, fellow adoptive parents, did a presentation recently, and we titled it Lessons from Our Living Room, Helping Our Children Regulate After Years of Trying to Figure Out how to help our kids regroup when they are overstimulated. And then taking a look at this piece around connected parenting. How can connected parenting, how connected consequences, I guess we'll say. Think a lot about really connected consequences and what the meaning of consequences is for our adopted kids. So, as a general rule, that's one of the big keys that was helpful for me was thinking about my child as a sensory being and applying that knowledge to how we navigated day-to-day routines. And it's been life-changing in my house. And I really hope to be able to offer more insights around that to adoptive families. It's a distinct journey. It's a lovely journey. I wouldn't change it for anything in the whole world. And I really learned and grew and was appreciative and hopeful. There's a lot of hope in what I offer with families, and I do um, lean on that and lean in to that with a lot of hope and patience and grace. So stay tuned for more Common Cord Psychology and Dr. Laura Anderson chats about adoptive parenting.